How's it going, fellas? It has been a pretty big week in the world of arm wrestling. There's a few things we've got to talk about today. The first of which is the training video that Schoolboy did with Vitaly Laletin. And if you are a fan of Vitaly, this could be potentially concerning for his upcoming match with Devon Larratt. We'll get into that. The next thing is, of course, the Arm Wrestling Awards, the end of year East versus West Awards. It was a pretty decent show other than the technical difficulties. It was entertaining enough. Thought there was a little bit too much yapping in between the awards, but hey, it is what it is. There was one category that I had a problem with. There was a certain athlete that I thought should have gotten nominated, and he could have won the category, in my opinion. He didn't even get nominated. So we'll get into that as well. And then we will end with a little card that happened over the weekend, the Armsmageddon Underground card. We'll talk about the co-main and the main event. If you don't know who these guys are, just stick around and find out. You'll know who these guys are if you're kind of familiar with the Northwestern U.S. arm wrestling scene. So anyways, we'll get into all this and more in today's video. Let's start off with the Schoolboy and Vitaly video. So some really good training footage, of course, the entire time. Vitaly is just stonewalling Schoolboy. That is to be expected, but it is still impressive because Schoolboy's left arm, as we've seen with his match against Reichard Bornman, very good. His left arm is his best arm. But let's get into this. So Tom Stubblebein did a video. I saw the Reddit post that has the translation of what Schoolboy said in this video. And basically it's making the case that Schoolboy said he would possibly bet on Devon Larratt as the favorite in this match. I watched the same video. I had the auto captions on, the auto translate. And the auto translate said something akin to, on the right, he would say it's a 50-50. On the left, it's a 55-45 in favor of Vitaly. So maybe the auto captions were wrong. Maybe the auto translate's wrong. But it seems to me that Schoolboy is not necessarily betting on Devon, but he does think it will be a close match. That's what I kind of gathered. And whether you think he's betting on Devon or not, I think this just goes to show that what many people thought would be a blowout in favor of Vitaly when this match was originally announced, people that thought that are now coming around to the fact that maybe that's not the whole story. Maybe that's not how it's going to go. And I am betting on Devon in this match. I think Devon will get the stop in probably round 2 or 3. And once he gets that stop, I don't think Vitaly's pressing him. I don't think he's driving sideways and getting the pin just based purely on back pressure and side pressure, even if he kind of loses his hand. I just don't think he's going to do that. And I think Devon's left arm is probably much better than people think it is. I mean, he's not doing the pumpkin training anymore. So he's going full force with both arms at this point. I think this will be a very good match. And to be honest, even though I am betting on Devon to win, it would not be the worst thing in the world if Vitaly won. I think it is really good for younger guys to do well in the sport, although I do like to see the old guys win. I'm a big Todd Hutchings enjoyer, so I do like seeing the old guys win. Anytime John Brezink pulls, I want to see him win. But yeah, I think it is good for the sport for younger guys to come up and to beat the older guys and kind of allow the passing of the torch. So, but it would be cool to see Devon become double champ again for the second time. That would be epic, and potentially in the short term, that would be better for the sport, just because Devon is hands down the most famous icon in arm wrestling. So anyways, what do you think about that? Apparently Schoolboy was saying that Vitaly said his wrist or his hands hurting. Something's hurting. The comments in the chat were just saying, "Oh, Vitaly's already coming up with excuses." I'm not a professional arm wrestler by any means, but I would say, as an arm wrestler who does practice regularly, I'm always sore somewhere. No arm wrestler is ever 100% fresh. No arm wrestler is ever 100% healed up and at the top of their game. You're always going to have some kind of injury, some kind of weakness that you're dealing with. So who knows how bad the injury is? Who knows if he's even injured at all, or if he's just saying that to maybe, I don't know, cause some kind of drama. We'll see. But let me know what you think. Do you think he's coming up with excuses? Do you think this match is going to be closer than what the majority of people thought when it was first announced? Let's move on to the Arm Wrestling Awards, the East versus West end of year Arm Wrestling Awards. Let's talk about the fan favorite. Of course, this was going to be Devon. This was 100% voted on by the fans. So I think Todd Hutchings took second place and Vitaly Lolettin took third place. I actually went through and I voted on everything. And then when I got to the end, it asks for like a bunch of information, like your email. It might have even asked for your phone number. I forget. But I know East versus West has had issues in the past with cyber attacks, and I am not about to put my information into their system if they're having issues with that. So I ended up not submitting any of my votes. But anyways, yeah, Devon won fan favorite. He will always win fan favorite as long as he is alive and competing. So yeah, in a shocking turn of events that no one saw coming, Devon won that award. And of course, his little appreciation video was done in the iconic green hoodie. The iconic green hoodie. Let's move on to the one that I had a little bit of an issue with, the Arm Wrestler of the Year. So there were some pretty good nominees, one terrible nominee, which I'm sure you already know what's coming, and one athlete that didn't get nominated that I thought could have potentially won. So who won the award? Vitaly won. And I think that's a good athlete to give it to. I think Devon came in second, and possibly, did I put these in order? Levi came in third, I believe. All right, let's talk about this. Arm Wrestler of the Year. Why was Levi even nominated? I know, he's the strongest ever. He's unbeatable. I know. You have to arm wrestle more than once a year, in my opinion, to even be nominated for this award. If you show up to work one day in a year, you cannot be the best employee. I know that's not a one-to-one analogy, but to me, that's crazy. Having a guy on there that just arm wrestled one time. I know it's his rematch with Hermes. It was very anticipated, highly anticipated. People thought this is the one. Hermes is the one to do it. He stopped him in the first match, and then Levi just destroyed him. Fair enough. He's the best in the world. But in my opinion, you have to be promoting the sport by competing to be eligible for this award. It's not my award show, so who cares? But anyways, who was the athlete? Well, what do you think about that? Do you think Levi should be nominated after arm wrestling once in the entire year? I don't think so. But anyways, the arm wrestler that I thought should have been nominated, who wasn't nominated, Todd Hutchings. How was Todd not nominated for Arm Wrestler of the Year? He had 3 title defenses, and he's moving up to the next weight class to face Oleg Petrenko because there is no one left in his weight class to challenge him. At the beginning of the year, he beat Irakli for the second time, 4-2. And that in that match, a lot of people were predicting, oh, Arachley's he's gonna 4-0 him. He's gonna improve his center game, his side pressure. He's gonna 4-0 him. Gets 4-2'd, and I believe one of those was lost due to fouls. So really, 4-1. Destroys him. Then he breaks Rustam. And you could say, Rustam was looking good. I actually think that match was going in Todd's direction. But as Todd says, weak things break. Rustam's not weak, but on that day, he was weaker than Todd. His body broke, Todd's didn't. So that's a second title defense. Then faces Arachley again for the third time. People say, this is the time Arachley's going to do it. Gets 4-0'd. Destroyed. 3 title defenses in 1 year. Now he's moving up in a weight class to face Oleg, who had 2 title defenses, or he got 2 titles last year, one on the right, one on the left. So I don't know. I don't understand how Todd Hutchings didn't get nominated, and I think he could have potentially won. But Vitaly's a good winner, though. Beat Artem Morozov for the left-hand world title. Beat Monster Michael Todd on the right. Beat Jerry Cataret dominantly on the right. So he's a deserving winner. Devon is also a good nomination. He beat Alex Kardeccia like 3 times. Twice on the left, once on the right. He beat Corey West on the left. He dominated Gennady Kvigvini on the right. So there's another good nomination. And then, of course, Oleg beat Betkili Oniani on the left, and then Nugo Chikadze on the right. So both of those were title matches as well. So overall, really good nominations, but man, how do you leave Todd Hutchings out with 3 title defenses? I guess one of them, he was getting the title back, so maybe 2. But still, to me, that seems criminal. Anyways, we will move on. I'll stop yapping about that. By the way, Auden Larratt beat, I believe his name is Hansa Toman, or John Toman, something like that. Beat him 3 pins to 1 is what I saw on Gold's Arm. I didn't buy the pay-per-view. I didn't watch it. I was watching the Armageddon card, and I was also watching UFC 325. So I'm sorry, Auden, I didn't watch your match, but congratulations on getting in the win column. I believe this guy is like a WAF junior champion, or was. So that's pretty cool. Back in the win column. But anyway, let's move on to the Armageddon card. So this was just a small card. They live streamed it on YouTube. This happened in Great Falls, Montana over the weekend. The co-main event was Andrew Quintana. He's the fella who runs the ArmFanatic YouTube channel. You may know of him. Versus Levi Nagel. The weight cap was 240 pounds. I didn't realize Andrew was so big. You kind of see people on YouTube and you see the different, like, depending on how they have their camera angled, you might think someone's like really small or really tall. I didn't realize Andrew was that big of a guy, but turns out he is. Couldn't get the job done, though, unfortunately, for him. Levi Nagel took it 4-0 pretty dominantly. He's got a pretty nasty top roll, so congratulations to Levi. Tough loss for Andrew. Tough loss, but I would have been interested to see how it would have gone if he was able to get into a hook. So anyways, let's move on to the main event. This was the one that I was kind of excited for. I've pulled one of these guys, Ryan Bussier, versus Ryan Carman. So I've pulled Ryan Bussier on the left arm. But I believe back when I pulled him, he was dealing with some injuries. And this is kind of his comeback match. Looks like he's all healed up. He beat Ryan Carman, who I believe is from Idaho. Ryan Bussier is from North Dakota, I want to say. Won 4-0. Very dominant win. There was, I believe, round 3 was a little bit sketchy. It kind of went into like this double King's Hook situation, but Ryan Bussier got a win out of it. He was able to pull it back onto his side of the table. So congratulations to Ryan Bussier. Sounds like in the post-match interview that he's got his nutrition down, he's got his training plan down, and he's going to be really pushing to go pro. So that's really awesome to hear. Congratulations to him. Let's move on to one last topic here. I don't know if you guys watched the Arm Wrestling Entertainment Last Man Standing tournament format. That format is really cool, and I wish it could happen with big names like in the East versus West world, but it never will. And here's why. You've probably already thought of it. Take the super heavyweight division, for example. All these guys are on all kinds of substances. They're cycling on for their match, and then they're cycling off to get healthy again, cycling on, cycling off. To get all of these sauced up guys to cycle at the exact same time so they can all be ready for one big tournament would be, first of all, really unwise. Because if you're looking to have cards in the near future, now you've got all these guys that just destroyed their bodies for your last man standing tournament. They're going to need like months to recover before they can have another super match. So in that aspect, it's unwise, but also you're not going to get Levon to compete in this. His whole shtick is that he doesn't get pinned, right? So he's not going to, and eventually in this type of format, he would get pinned eventually. And it could be by a guy that shouldn't pin him. He could get pinned by, like, no offense, but like Georgie Dezernov, a guy that normally would have no chance at, and no one has a chance at pinning him. But this is why we'll never see this kind of format even though it is so cool. And if you haven't seen it, I would recommend going over to the channel and watching it. But it'll never happen just because of the way these guys cycle on and off. They're not going to all want to get cycled on for this one tournament and absolutely destroy their arms. I mean, it goes for an hour long where they're just pulling each other nonstop, and whoever gets the most pins wins. Cool format, but that's just not going to happen. So anyways, let me know what your opinion on that is. Would you prefer to see that, or do you prefer to see super matches? I still prefer super matches, but I do think the last man standing format is really cool. And if they could do it for, I don't know, do it for like a challenger series or something, that'd be cool. I'd watch that. So anyways, thank you so much for watching, guys. Pretty big week for arm wrestling. I can't wait for this next card in Vienna. It's gonna be a good one, and I'm also really excited for the Montana Armbender coming up. So, anyways, thanks for watching. I hope this video was shorter. I'm trying not to yap it much. I don't want to make 30-minute videos. It takes so long to edit these. So, anyways, thank you guys. Have a good one. Bye.